Alright folks, this is going to be a bit different. I've put my reaction to El Paso and Dayton up, and I'm not really going to be adding anything to it. This is a history lesson. Because every time a criminal uses a firearm, the instantaneous jump by every liberal in the country, in the media, on Capitol Hill, anywhere, is just ban guns, just ban guns, just ban guns. Well, I want to point out a couple of things. One, missile launchers are banned from civilian ownership, yet they can still be purchased. Now, correctly, I can't remember anything there done with them, but I have seen people selling them. Bombs are illegal. It is illegal to make and use a bomb. Yet, Boston saw one at the marathon. Timothy McVeigh blew up the Murrow building in Oklahoma City. They've been used on American soil by criminals. And the one thing tying all this together is criminals, but there's another aspect of this. When you look at Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, Stalin, Hitler, even when you look at Maduro in Venezuela, all of them banned guns and then forcibly disarmed their people. What followed was mass murder by the government. You see, if the U.S. 100% banned private ownership of firearms, two things would be instantly clear. The first being that criminals would still have them. That leads to more victims. But the second would be government tyranny that makes every government offense against freedom of the citizens pale in comparison. Because, you see, I guarantee you, the day Democrats get their wish and ban private ownership of firearms, there will be a few steps that follow instantly. The first will be an order to the military, National Guards that have been federalized, and police to just find and seize all guns. No warrants, no Fourth Amendment rights, nothing. Anyone who resists in any way will be shot. But what follows that will be that the clear result is criminals still have them and still use them. What follows that will be you just can't run things yourselves. We're just going to have to take more control. It will be Orwellian rule. I have made this comment on Twitter, on many other social platforms, that 1984, Brave New World, Fahrenheit 451, Animal Farm, and so many other cautionary tales should be required reading, starting at the middle school level. Every 7th grader should be made to read Animal Farm. Those who still don't get it should be told, fine, we're going to take every grade in this class, average them all together, and everybody gets the same grade. I actually did say this to a class. Now, mine was tongue-in-cheek. Bit of a divergence here, but when I was in my final year of college, actually no, it was my next to last year, it was my third to last semester, I was contacted by the local high school because I had subbed for them before, and the AP Government Economics and History teacher knew that my degree matched hers. Degree in history with a focus to teaching social studies. Now this was early on in the semester, early on in spring of '09, I believe. My dates may be off there. But I was asked if I could take a 5-day job. Now I knew this would make me miss a week of class, and thus important lectures and such. But I asked that the teacher contact my faculty counselor and sponsor to find out, because 2 of my 3 degree specific courses were with my academic advisor. The third was a health class that I'd forgotten to take. I emailed that prof and just got the lecture. But this teacher emailed my academic advisor, advised that she had to go out of town for a family emergency and needed me because the students respected me. I'd subbed for her several times, and I knew the material very well. My academic advisor asked me about it, told her that I wanted to be a teacher and that this is experience, and yes, I felt I could very easily fill in and actually lecture. So she gave me the lecture notes for that week, told me that I would be responsible for everything, but here were her notes. I ended up making an A in all of her classes anyway, but I subbed for that teacher for that week. On Tuesday, we began looking at schools of thought for politics. Laissez-faire versus capitalism versus socialism versus democracy versus tyranny and everything in between. One of the students, of course, said, well, if it's done right, wouldn't socialism be the way to live? And I said, well, there's your question. It has never been done right, and could it ever, knowing human nature? And I knew these kids. I knew them very well. I'd subbed several times, just take a day here and there. But I said, well, let's do an experiment. I said, now I know who in here busts their rump to make the highest grades possible. And I know who, like me, can barely crack a book and get high B's, low A's. And I know who needs to make a little more effort. I'm not going to name any names, but if I took every grade from a test, averaged it out to find the average grade for that test, and then gave everyone the same grade, would you feel as motivated to study as hard as you do? Would you feel motivated to study harder to bring up grades that aren't yours? Everyone in the class went, well, no, that's not fair. I said, that is the epitome of socialism. You're never going to get it to work the way it says it should on paper, because those who are doing the most work and seeing less and less for it are going to always end up saying, why should I work as hard for less results, less from it? Those who do very little work will say, why should I do any work? I'm getting the benefits anyway. And you will always end up with a society where the bare minimum is done and the maximum return is demanded. There's another joke that goes around about men who go out drinking, and the bartender says he's going to charge based on their pay. Then, after a little while, or actually they just always pay based on the ones who make the most and all that. But eventually the bartender says, you've been coming here for a long time, so I'm going to give you a 15% discount. The ones who pay nothing complain that they got no discount, and complain that the ones who paid more got more dollars off of their bill. So the ones who paid the most quit coming, and all of a sudden no one can afford the bill. And that's the crux and the lesson of socialism. When you tax those who work to pay those who don't, those who work stop working. And that will lead to the ultimate end game of Orwellian control. It will end up with, no, you have no choice. You will do this job. I'm assigning you this job. You will work every day. You will do all of the work. You will get paid what I tell you you get paid. And you will happily pay your taxes, or you will be removed from society. It will start with those who are a threat to the smooth running of society have been jailed. It will end with death. Those who do not submit to the will of those in power, who, by the way, will not be elected. They will be an oligarchy. They will be, well, I'm running the show, so I'm running the show. And anyone they deem a threat will be killed. Read 1984. That's the worst option, honestly. But then read Fahrenheit 451. where people actually think they're kind of free. I don't often like movie versions of books. I'm that geek who's always saying the book was better, unless it's quite literally a book written as a novelization of a movie, where it's most often not. I prefer the books. But the most recent adaptation of Fahrenheit 451, Michael Shannon and Michael B. Jordan on HBO, was phenomenal. It's far better than the original, made, I believe, in the 60s, because it shows more clearly the methods of control and the methods of keeping people from knowing what's going on and keeping people in line that the book does. Because you see, in 1984, it's just, you'll do what we say or you die. In Fahrenheit 451, you'll do what we say or you are exiled from society. You cannot buy and sell. You'll die slowly of starvation. But then also read Brave New World, Aldous Huxley. This one is, honestly, I've said it before, Ready Player One is the fevered nightmare of all three, Huxley, Orwell, and Bradbury, rolled into one. Because people are controlled willingly by tech in that movie. But in Brave New World, people are controlled because they're forcibly given drugs at the end of their shift. There are no more families. There are no more births, actually, in Huxley's book. People are engineered, and it's engineered into a caste system. You want to see where racism goes, you let government decide what caste people are in. They're all horrific versions of what might happen in the future. And honestly, I don't want any one of them coming true. The U.S. is still the shining example of freedom for the world. But we're very, very close to losing that because we have people in power who live behind walls, who spend every waking moment guarded by men with automatic weapons, while demanding the people they are elected to serve give up physical barriers to securing the country, give up their firearms because criminals broke the law. We're very close to losing what my ancestors and many of your ancestors fought and bled and died for 240 odd years ago. And if we don't wake the hell up, it's going to hit us like a ton of bricks, and you're going to have a lot of people going, well, this isn't good. I didn't vote for this. And you'll have the people in D.C. saying, you don't get to vote anymore. Is that really what you want?